Welcome to another episode of Space Marine Shore to Shore with our co host Art Tracer.
That's who I am.
That is Art Tracer. And we are the world's foremost experts in everything. So we're going to talk about everything in one show. Grab your coffee, grab your monster, um, grab your whatever else you need.
Botanicals you happen to have on hand.
And by the way, this show it's the disclaimer. It's a figment of your imagination. YouTube actually deleted one of our videos. I think it might be against the terms of service even to talk about that. So it's a disclaimer. This is a movie, much like Goodfellas or The Matrix or Total Recall or even Happy Gilmore. This is not reality. We can say anything we want because we're actors. All right, so today we're going to discuss interdimensional aliens that you might encounter when doing DMT. We'll discuss that for about 10 seconds. So what do you think, Art Tracer?
Well, yeah, you can see a lot of nice things when you're doing that stuff, I suppose. Although I've never partaken myself.
Yeah, children, I don't recommend you do DMT. If there's any children watching this, which I severely doubt. Adults also. Adults don't smoke the DMT unless you want your mind to be like a scrambled egg. Unless you want to become like me. I didn't do it that much though, but I've seen the aliens. The aliens are real. It's in the Torah. There's actually a section in the Torah that discusses all the different planets and all the different aliens. So yeah, believe it or not, aliens are in the Torah. And so anyone that's wondering if aliens exist is stupid. Like they have all these billions of dollar telescopes. They're looking into space. They're not finding anything. But they can just read the Torah and be like, okay, yeah, there's aliens in there, and so there must be because every word in the Torah is true. So that's the story. Also, think about this: God does not want us to like meet the aliens, so we never will. We can like build $1 trillion starship. We can reverse the quantum flux of the dimensional fabric and like shoot off to the Andromeda galaxy in 10 seconds. We're still not going to find the aliens. Because like, you know, look how people treat each other. Like if someone has like brown skin or yellow skin or whatever skin, if it's different, don't they like kill each other? Yes, they totally do. What do you think, Art Tracer?
Well, yeah, well the aliens, you know, I mean, who knows just how different they are. But,
exactly. If like just because we have different skin colors as humans, like people kill each other. So if we ever found aliens or aliens found us, it would just be a mass genocide. I think it's actually called a xenocide when it's like on the level of species killing entire species. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why it's not good to find the aliens. We should not find the aliens. Oh yeah, I got the same background as last time. Let's change this. Let's change this to I don't know. All right, that was stupid. I'm just gonna keep the same one. All right, so yeah, we should never find the aliens. The aliens should never find us, or God help us, because it'll just be the mass racism of aliens versus humans. What are your thoughts?
Well, we have no idea, you know, what kind of technologies they have either. I mean, it could be like far advanced than we are, you know. And they could want our resources too if they can come over here, you know. So, you know, resources, you know, theology, all sorts of things that you know they could, hate us for, and that's you can't take that chance. I mean, right now they're not here. They're no threat, but if they're here, you know, who knows what kind of threat they might pose.
Yeah, I think aliens would be bad. But the notable thing is if you smoke DMT or take LSD or eat a lot of mushrooms or huff some gas, I don't recommend any of these things. You will probably see the aliens. I think it's very real. I'm not being sarcastic.
So if you can see them, can they always see you also?
I think they see you. Like once I was on DMT and like I saw this giant black octopus thing. And there was in fact a whole city of these black octopuses. They were like shooting through tunnels, like they had a really high-tech city. And one of them saw me from a distance and then zoomed right up to me and looked at me in the eyes. It saw me.
Mhm.
So yeah, like you don't want to break that realm.
So it.
Yeah, you
So-
don't want to go there.
so
It was
I guess
creepy. I felt like violated by the alien.
Yeah, so I guess like if you can't see them, then they ignore you. But like once you start looking at them, then they can notice that you see.
No, I
them.
think they see you if you're in the realm. Yeah, I was like in the city, the black octopus humanoid. Yeah, they weren't humanoid. I mean, they were like black octopuses that levitated. They had a beautiful city. It was so awesome.
But does your taking of this bring their dimension here, or are they already there and they can see you when you're not doing that stuff? And
It's possible they can see you here because, like it says in the Torah, there's like dimensions full of demons and angels, which is probably the stuff I was seeing. It's probably some sort of demon or angel. Like this thing's saying we're having a hard time connecting. Or we're getting like thrown off or censored by the NSA.
Yeah.
But whatever. I think they could see us all the time, maybe but they might also sense if you're aware of them too. But yeah, there's all sorts of demons and stuff that we can't see that know we're here and attacking us, and angels too. So you got to create angels by doing prayers. It's always good to pray. All right. So what's the next topic?
Let's see. We want to talk about the Hillary thing.
What happened to Hillary?
Well, Donald Trump is saying that she definitely spied on him, but
Well, but Trump spied on her.
Microsoft and NBC are trying to say, oh no, it's overblown. Trump doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'm sure they all spied on each other.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fair game. Watergate, Schmartergate, Gefilte Gate. This episode is brought to you by Gefilte Fish. Yes, they sponsored that.
Have you ever caught a gefilte fish on a rod?
Yeah. It takes a lot of effort. It takes days of preparation. It takes lots of praying. But if you pray enough, you'll get one.
I've never seen like a gefilte fish head though.
Oh, they're huge. It's like bigger than this whole room.
Yeah.
They're just one gefilte fish can make like hundreds of cans of gefilte fish. Hundreds. It's like tuna, tuna.
I wonder if they're born in cans, maybe.
Well, some of them are, some of the lower class.
Or jars.
I'm a higher class sort of person that eats higher class gefilte fish.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones that were born in the can.
Yeah.
But, should we talk about gefilte fish jelly?
Oh, the jelly, yeah. Where does that come from?
I will claim it gives you immortality. It cures every sickness. You just gotta eat 1 pound. You gotta eat 1 pound of the jelly per day, and rub it all over your body. You got to get in the bathtub and immerse yourself in it. And if you do this, I guarantee you'll live forever. No matter what pandemics hit, you'll survive. Especially if you hide within the gefilte fish jelly, you'll never get sick. You'll never leave your house.
Yep.
There's no chance anything will go wrong. You can just be in a blob of jelly. So that's the story. That's really the story of the generation here. The great breakthrough. People aren't ready for this yet.
Oh yeah, I mean. And no one's really ever ready for the gefilte fish jelly bath, but
yeah, it's the future. The future is here. The future is now. I mean, if you ever see a black octopus demon crossing your dimension after you smoke some DMT or take some ayahuasca, you should definitely just throw some jelly at them. It has magical powers to get rid of them. Also, prayer. Torah. That's the truth. The second one was the truth. The first one, I don't think if you threw jelly at them or do anything, you'd probably just go right through them.
They're on a different that might be their kryptonite.
They're on a different quantum phase, though. You probably can't interact jelly with aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens have their own jelly. That's for another episode. I guess another thing. Oh, look at this. Look what my wife did. She left a garlic clove on the windowsill, and there's new life. Isn't that cool?
Wow,
she just left it on the windowsill.
Like Freddy fingers,
It's grown. It's a plant. So we have a garlic plant in the studio. Garlic has lots of good qualities. It cures all sorts of illnesses. And it's funny, Big Pharma doesn't want you to know this. Big Pharma's against a lot of things, but especially, I don't know, garlic's just one of them. Like, this cures so much stuff, like heart problems and diabetes and all this other stuff. And it's right here. It's plentiful. It's abundant. It's cheap. And most people don't know that. But the Italians, they eat so much of it, even if they don't know, they're going to be pretty healthy because of it. Garlic. Bam. All right, what's the next topic?
I don't know what new is happening in the world.
Well, Ukraine did not get invaded. I heard some theories that basically the Democrats. I mean, this might just be bullshit, paranoia, but like they're saying, oh, the Democrats fabricated the whole invasion because by saying they're going to get invaded and then they're not going to get invaded and claim a victory to distract from their massive failures and everything else. That's feasible, but the truth is Russia did amass 130,000 soldiers on the border of the Ukraine, which is far more than a standard military exercise. I sure hope they don't get invaded, because if they do, it's not going to be like a quick thing. It's going to be like probably years and years of total war where Russia's trying to expand and take over the world. Because once a country gets the taste for expanding, I mean, this has been all throughout history. They don't just take one territory. Once they get that imperialistic attitude of actually invading places, they just keep going. They just keep going and going because it's so profitable until they get totally stopped and destroyed. So, let's not hope for that. I don't think it's like a joke. I don't think it's a fun thing. I think it's a bad thing from every angle for a superpower to start invading nations. What are your thoughts, are Tracer?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to get back all the satellite countries that they used to have under the Soviet umbrella, and they're eyeing one place where they know there's like a lot of people speaking Russian, and may have felt some connection to Russia, or some strange nostalgia for the past. Um,
Well, yeah, that's how the Germans justified invading like Czechoslovakia or wherever they took
Yeah.
first. They said, "Oh, there's a bunch of Germans here." It's the same thing.
yeah,
People don't know history. Everyone's like, not everyone, but a lot of people are very ignorant about their studies. I mean, Germany said the same thing, and it's like repeating itself. They said, "Oh, there's a lot of Germans in this area," and was it Czechoslovakia region or like Hungary or something? It was like around there. They said, "We have to take this. This is like there's Germans here."
yeah.
Russia just did the same thing, and they're doing it again, and like no one's noticing the tie to the Nazi history there. Yeah, that's like what every imperial power does, apparently, or at least the Nazis and now the Russians. Like taking Crimea is equivalent to what Germany did at the very beginning. And then it escalated and escalated. Like they started invading every country around them. And then like, no, we need to take like every asset in the whole world. It just escalates. So I am not, I'm praying that war doesn't happen. I don't want that war to happen because it'll probably become a nuclear war very quickly. Even it might be a conventional war briefly, but like if it becomes an actual war where the sides are desperate, of course they'll use nuclear weapons. Why wouldn't they? War is very serious. People start dying, you start losing assets. Of course, they're going to nuke the enemy. So let's not hope for that. No one should be applauding that or praying for that. I know a lot of people are probably, Belian Harwish means without an evil eye in Hebrew because people are amused by war, especially on social media where everything's coming at the tip of your fingers and it's like, oh. So I bet there's a lot of people rooting for it, but they shouldn't. It's not. It's a very serious and bad thing. Could lead to like the collapse of the civilized world, or at least the civilized world will become very impoverished. Speaking of impoverishment, let's talk about inflation. So this is a serious topic. Even before COVID started, when the 2008 crash happened, they started printing like hundreds of billions of dollars and then trillions of dollars. And COVID happened, they're printing trillions and trillions of dollars. And like for a while, the U.S. dollar stood its ground, but now there's real inflation. The inflation rate was between 1% and 2.5% for like years. And even when they were printing all that stuff, it was. But they were cooking the books too. Whoever makes these inflation numbers is cooking it. Now the inflation is 7.5% on the books after they cooked the numbers as hard as they can. That's the best they could do to cook it down is to 7.5%. That means it's really like 20-30% inflation per year, and the dollar is collapsing. But I don't think the dollar is going to collapse. I'm not one of those people that just looks at the data as it is now and says, "Oh, the dollar will collapse." Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin expert, but not today, or maybe later. But anyways, the U.S. dollar is like the imperial lifeblood of the United States, and they're not going to let that go. That's the truth. So even though the dollar is hyperinflating now, it just means basically the United States government's about to do things to protect the dollar, especially the Federal Reserve and all that stuff. They're going to do some stuff to protect the dollar. They're going to increase the Fed funds rate, stop giving out free money through the interbank window at the Fed. They're going to do quantitative tightening, which is like opposite of injecting, is like uninjecting. And all those together, basically the dollar is going to rally and strengthen, but the stock market and all the equity bubbles are going to collapse. Huge things happen. Huge. What are your thoughts, Art Tracer?
Yeah, I mean, everything they do is, I mean, they don't care. They realize it's not their money. So, even when the banks collapse and, they barely saved it the last time. And, and no one hardly went to jail for it, you know, um, you had companies that literally taking like $1 billion of their clients' money, and no one and goes to jail for it. And and they sit before Congress, and they have honorable such and such person, right in front of them. And what do you think they're gonna chastise them? When they're standing, in front of Congress, and they already have a moniker in front of them that says honorable in front of it. Like, no, no. You gonna trust those guys to get to the bottom of things? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, so I would recommend. This is a bad time to be in stocks because there's two ways you could bet. You could bet that they're just going to let the dollar collapse, which is a stupid bet because that would mean the United States empire ends, and if they have any power at all, which they do to protect the dollar in the United States empire, they're going to use it. Or you could bet that they're going to let the dollar collapse and the stocks will rally. But I think get out of stocks basically. What do you think, Art Tracer?
Well, I mean, we've had recently a massive crash, and slowly getting back, which always happens, even in the 1929 crash. Eventually, after a little while, it came back, but obviously people already hurled themselves out of buildings by then, and some people aren't getting their money back, obviously, and especially those that are doing options tradings and margin tradings and things like that. They're wrecked, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's you know, but overall, it'll slowly get back to where it was at some point. But eventually, if they keep doing this, they're gonna push it too far. Especially like you said, 7.5% is absurd.
All right, so we're going to be back. We're taking a brief break. Stay